I have not seen a batch of compost this dry before, and it's going to take some time and effort to get it properly rehydrated. I have been getting these large bags of municipal compost delivered from the same supplier for quite a few years, and most of it has been reasonably moist and will absorb more water fairly easily. This type of compost is made from a lot of woody material, and it tends to become hydrophobic or repels water when it dries out too much, which has caused problems in the past when I used it as a surface mulch in the polytunnels. If I was spreading this compost on the surface of the garden beds outside, this would be less of a problem, as the winter rains would eventually rehydrate it, providing the layer was not too thick. But I purchased this batch of compost mainly for use in the beds inside the polytunnel, where there's a risk that the surface mulch of this compost will stay too dry for too long. These latest bags of compost must have been sitting undercover at the local supplier's yard for quite a while, possibly a full year, where most of the moisture that it had contained either evaporated or was used up in the ongoing biological processes within the compost. These bags arrived completely dry, and even after almost 3 weeks of sitting outside, only a thin layer of the surface of this compost has absorbed any substantial amount of water, even though we've had almost 75 millimeters or 3 inches of rain falling in that time. I am surprised how little of this rain has penetrated, and I'm assuming that a lot of the heavier rain that we've had over the last 3 weeks simply washed off the surface. So getting this full bag of compost rehydrated is going to take more than just leaving it out in the rain. A few of us dug out one bag into another, and in the process added about 20 watering cans or close to 200 liters of water, which will at least start to hydrate sections of this compost, which will hopefully allow it to soak up even more of the rain. With another bag, we mixed in layers of amendments, including seaweed meal and concentrated fertility, as well as lots of water. This is something that I've been trying to do with this type of compost in general, turning it from a low fertility, high carbon mulching compost into a more valuable feeding compost. So this work of rehydrating the compost has other benefits. But this process will take biology, which is likely not there with a really dry compost, and warmth, so I'm not expecting much to happen over the winter. This is disappointing, as this type of compost from my usual local supplier has been a reliable source of high carbon material for the gardens, which is clean and doesn't contain any plastic or other contaminants. And this really dry batch of compost that has obviously been sitting around for a long time is probably a sign that they're not selling a lot of this compost in the area. This is worrying, as I would hope to be able to continue to get compost like this delivered whenever I need it for the gardens, as it is convenient stuff, but not when it needs so much rehydrating.